Hey guys, so this video is going to show you guys how to create a lesson or record your lesson on Google Meet and post it to your classroom so that the students can go in there and see your lessons. So I am going to now present my entire screen. So up until now, you had the camera, the webcam was facing me. That was what you were seeing. The way that I showed you my entire screen was by going in here and say you are presenting, and in here you're gonna have an option that gives you one that says entire screen. That's the way you go from the camera facing you to recording whatever the screen is going to be showing. There are some other settings in Google Meets in Google Meet that I want to go through. But before we do anything dealing with Google Meet, I want to make sure that you guys understand that there is some preparation that goes along with this. Whenever you're going to have a lesson, make sure you have your Ladybug ready. Make sure you have your Ladybug app open. Make sure you have it connected. And if you're seeing this screen, all you simply have to do is click on the Ladybug and say that you don't want the webcam because that'll start displaying yourself. But if you click on Lumen's document camera, you'll have the whatever you have underneath the document camera. That's one. Also, if you have a PowerPoint that is downloaded to your computer that you're going to want to show, make sure you have it open so that when it's ready to show the PowerPoint, it's going to be there instead of having to search for it. That's another one. You could also share a PowerPoint or any type of other document that you have on your Google Drive. So if you do have a PowerPoint that you're going to want to show and it's on your Google Drive, make sure you have it ready before you do any of this, any of the starting of the lesson. Okay. So now that we have those basics, you make sure you're very, very prepared before you start recording. Because once you start recording, your only other option here would be to stop recording and start the recording again. If you make a mistake or if you don't feel like you did what you were supposed to or you wanted to add more, you technically have to redo the whole thing if you would like to get it in one single frame or one single recording. But let's assume you're ready to go. There is some setups here in your actual classroom. Let's go back to how your classroom looks like. If you have more than one classroom or you're going to have more than one tab here. But I'm going to click on this classroom. What I want you to notice here to begin with is that you have your class code, which is fine. You have your Meet link, but then you also have this little icon. This tells me that if a student goes into my Google Classroom, they're able to see this Meet link, and they can actually access that without your permission. If you're not going to be having lessons live, then there is no reason for your students to have access to this link. The way you come and you deactivate this link for the students is by clicking on your little sprocket on your settings there, and then you're going to go down to where it says Meet visible to students. You're going to click for it to be disabled. Once you save that, you're going to notice that now you have a little eye with a like a hash mark or a dash over it. That means that it's still visible to you, but not to your students. All right. So now we're in that step where you have everything ready. You have all your PowerPoints, you have all your documents, you have your document camera, you have everything ready to go. Now you want to create your lesson recorded through Google Meet. What you do is you click on your link, and then you're going to get this page. What you're going to do here is you're actually going to click on Join Now, but I'm not going to click on Join Now because I'm already recording the Google Meet. But you would record now, click on Join Now, and when you join now, you're going to get something that looks like this. Okay. Once you're here, there's a couple of other settings that I strongly recommend that you change. First thing is on your settings tab, you have your audio option. Now, if you connected your Lumen's Ladybug to this, it's going to want to default to the Lumen's microphone. And I'm going to switch it right now. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go to my Lumens microphone.
And you're going to notice a difference, a slight difference in the way the audio sounds. If this is not going to be good for your teaching. You're not going to be able to get your point across teaching like this to the students. For me, I have my own personal, what you call this, my own personal mic that I purchased. This one is called Blue Snowball.
So when I switch it back to Snowball, you notice a difference. For most of you, if you do not have a mic that is dedicated for these types of web, I guess you would call them web podcasts, you're going to have your regular mic, and it's going to look something like this, Realtrek Audio. As long as it doesn't say Lumens, you can switch to that one. The quality is not as good, but it's not going to be the quality of your microphone from Lumen
Audio. This is not what you want your kids to be listening to when you're doing your lessons. So please make sure that when you go in there,
you make sure that you have it in the correct audio so that you can be able to present your information as clearly as possible to your students. The next setting I want you to look at is your video setting. Now, this one is an integrated webcam video setting. If you want to have a higher video setting, a clearer picture, you want to make sure you go in here and you click on high definition. And the resolution is also high definition. When you do that, that pretty much guarantees that whatever you're showing, you're going to be showing it at the clearest picture possible. Okay, see what else we have here. This is to go to full screen. Notice right now you're seeing my tabs on top. If you have all these different tabs and you don't want the kids to be showing that, you can click on full screen and those tabs go away. But the one that I want to make sure that you guys understand is that make sure that when you're recording your lesson, you're going to be recording your screen, which means everything that you see yourself on the screen, the kids will be seeing. But make sure you put here in these options, you can have an option that says record your screen. Because if you do not record your screen and you just press record, it's going just to be recording yourself, never what you're trying to present to the students. Okay, so now you have that option. You're good. You're good on that part. You get to the part of the lesson where you want to show your PowerPoint that you have set up through your Google Docs. Remember, we have this already set up ahead of time. All you have to do is click on this tab. We're going to go to present. It'll present to the students the PowerPoint that you have, and you can go through your PowerPoint the way you normally do. Let's assume you want to stop there, and you say, I have a different PowerPoint, but this one's on my computer. I'm going to go down here to my PowerPoint on my computer, and I'm going to go ahead and click on this little icon right here. It gives it a full screen, and you go ahead and talk about the other parts of the PowerPoint. But then you get to the point in your lesson when you have to show them what's going on with the document camera. This is why it's very important to have everything ready, so that when it's ready for the document camera, you already have it open. You just make it into full screen and you start teaching from your document camera. This is the passage. We're talking about the teaks, and we're going to keep going here. And you get the point. This is a way you can go back and forth very quickly without having to have a lot of downtime whenever you're recording a lesson. So you have your document camera there. You keep going back and forth. You have your PowerPoint presentation downloaded on your computer. Then you have your PowerPoint presentation that's on your Google Drive. Everything is good, and you're done. And you want to go ahead and close this presentation. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to stop this presentation so that it can load. It can actually save to my drive, and I'm going to create another presentation to show you the next step on how to upload your lesson and create a lesson on Google Classroom, so your students can then access this PowerPoint or this video lesson that you have just created. So I'm going to click on stop presenting. Now notice that it didn't stop recording, So you got to make sure that you're very, very careful on what you do when you're on the camera, because you're still not out of the woods yet. You have stopped recording, presenting your screen, but you have to go in here and click on stop recording. Okay, so we left off where I clicked on the stop recording, on the stop recording button. Let me present my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. At the very last part of the video, as soon as I clicked on stop recording, the recording stopped. Now, the reason I had to create this into two separate videos is because I needed to give the Google Meet time to be able to send my video to my drive. It's not going to happen instantaneous. It's going to take between 5 to 10, maybe up to 15 minutes before you see your video that you created on your drive. I got to make sure, again, I'm going to go in, make sure I have the good one. The snowball is good. And so now I need to go look for my I guess you would call this my file that I just created. So if you don't have it open, the best way to do it here is to go to googledrive.google.com. And Google Meet will automatically create a folder for you called Meet Recordings. So it's going to be something like this. I'm going to open it here. And like I said, when you first stop recording, you're going to want to jump into your drive and say, where's my video? It's not going to be there. It's going to take between 8 to 15 minutes, more or less, for it to actually show up. So I know this is my video. It has not finished. As a matter of fact, it hasn't even finished processing. I want to say if I double click on it, this happens, which is kind of annoying. So if you want to see this, there's a couple of ways. If it's a very long video, it's going to ask you to wait so that it can, I guess you would call this convert it. But sometimes it'll allow to preview it. Let's see if it will allow me to preview my video. So that's the video, that's the training. But sometimes as soon as it pops up here, there's times where you're going to click on preview video and it's not going to even let you preview the video. So the only other way that you can see your video to make sure that's the way you want it is to right click and download your video. You're going to see it downloading down here. What this is doing is it's going to download it to your computer. Now, the only reason you would want to do this is if you're wanting to look at your video before YouTube finishes, I mean, not YouTube, Google finishes converting your video for the students to watch. So once you have it here, it can upload, it can open, it's on your computer. If you have that main audio option. Now, okay, let me escape here. Close this out. So now I know that that's the video that I want. The very next step that I would recommend you do before you forget is you want to rename this video before anything else. So you want to right click and you want to click on rename. And here I'm going to name this Google Meet Training Video Part 1. Okay. So then once I save that or I click OK, that's going to update that so that I know which video that is. It's going to be hard sometimes because you might have start and stop the video 3 or 4 times before you have the actual video that you want. So you're going to have to go in there and review the videos and make sure that the one that you're saving is the one that you want to upload to your Google Classroom. This way I know that this one for sure is the one that I want to upload. So now you have your video ready to go. Now, this is my class. I have my class work. Let me go start off at the very beginning. This is where you open up Google Drive Classroom. If you only have one class, you're going to have one tile. If you have more, you're going to have more here. But if you're going to add this lesson to this one class, you're going to click on that class. You're going to go to class work. And here you're going to create. You're going to click on create right here. And this can be an assignment, it can be a quiz, it can be a question, material. You can technically say this is an assignment because I'm gonna ask you, you're gonna be required to watch this video, or you can simply say this is a material. For most of you, for the kids, so they can understand, it's gonna be an assignment. So we're gonna go with assignment. You're gonna click on assignment, and I'm gonna put here the title of your assignment. This is going to be Google Meet Training Video Part 1. And the reason I put Part 1 is because once I finish recording this one, I'm gonna go in there and put Part 2 because I'm recording the video that I need to give you guys. And then here you can give instructions. Please watch the following video to get familiar with how to record a lesson on Google Meet. Period. Now here's where we go ahead and click on add. Because Google Meet is tied into your Google account, all you have to do here is click on Google Drive. And more sure it's going to be here under your recent, right? If you notice, I've been practicing here. I've been opening up different ones, right? But it's going to be under your recent. But sometimes it's not the most recent thing that you want to upload. And you know that it was a Google Meet recording. So you want to go here and go to My Drive. I'm going to show you the proper way instead of the shortcuts. That way, if you ever think you lost your file, you know exactly where it is. It automatically opens up on recent. You do not want recent. You want My Drive. You want to go ahead and scroll down to where it says Meet Recordings. And then here it is. This is a Google. And because I labeled it, I know this is exactly the one that I want. I'm going to click on that one, and I'm going to click on Insert. Now, here you have your options. Students can view the file, which is what you want. Students can edit the file. I wouldn't do that. Or you can make a copy for each student. This is up to you, but by default, if it's a video that you're going to be showing to everybody, you can put students can view the file. If this is going to be an assignment that you created on Google Docs and you want each individual student to have their own, I wouldn't do students can edit the file, because that means that all students can edit one file. For that one, I would put make a copy for each student if that were the case. But because this is a training video, we can go ahead and leave it as student can view the file. And then here, it's going to ask you who you're going to assign to which ones. You're in the Pearson library. And then when you have your students, you're going to have all your students listed here. Now, because this is a training video, I would give this to everybody in my class. Now, this is where you can differentiate your actual lessons. If this was a lesson, let's assume this was a lesson geared to your GT kids, or this was a lesson geared to your lower level kids, or this was an extra credit lesson. Well, let's assume that you don't want to send these to all the students. You only want to send it to your GT students, or you only want to send this to the students who want extra credit, or you're going to send it to everybody. This is where it tells you who you are allowing to watch this video. You can give it a points system, or it can be ungraded. This is a video. It can be considered no grade, but sometimes you might want to tell the student, hey, watch this training video, and I will give you 10 points, 10 extra points somewhere, or I will give you 100 for doing this. That's how you do it. You can create a due date. If you do not add a due date, this will never be considered late. Let's assume that you want to say this one is going to be due by the 28th. You can even give a time at 11:59, or it could be less, whatever time you want. What this does, guys, is if a student turns in an assignment late, you're going to get an email that says so-and-so turned in Google Meet training video part 1 late. That you're going to get a notification on that. Here you can go ahead and click on topics. This is a real good thing, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to create a topic here, and I'm going to put training videos. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and leave that right there, training videos. Now, you could like once I have this one, instead of creating another lesson or another assignment, If I already have the second video that I want to add, let's assume I have part 2 ready. I could go in here and I can add part 2. All right, so I'm going to go back to Meet Recordings. Now I'm not going to add this one, but I'll add one that I was kind of messing with the mics. Let's say this was part 2. I could go ahead and click on that one and insert part 2. So you can wait until you have all the videos recorded. Let's say you're doing lessons 1.1 and 1.2 for that week. You can do lesson 1.1, you can do lesson 1.2, and you can say this was week 1 lessons. And you can have them both there, or you can just simply have one. Let's assume this was done by mistake. You know what? I don't want to put it in here. I'm just going to close this out, and we're done. You can actually add a rubric here where, you know, it tells you what you're going to, how you're going to be grading. Okay, once you have all of that done, you can go in here and just assign it directly right now. Or if you're the type of teacher that says, you know what, I know this assignment, I'm going to create this assignment for next week, but I don't want the kids to see it. You could schedule this assignment. You can click on schedule and say, I want this assignment to start on the 24th at a specific time. And the students will not be able to see it until that time starts. But for this one, I want to assign it right now. I'm going to click on assign. Give it some time. Now that you assign it, you're going to notice that here I have different tabs. If you recall, when I was going through my editing of the Google Meet trainings video part 1, it asked me if I wanted to create a topic. Okay, so this topic allowed me to put the video here. And this is going to make it a lot easier for your students to be able to see things. Like here, you know that those are all my ebooks. Those are my read alouds. So it makes it easier. It kind of sorts out your things that much nicer. So here you can go ahead and click on this video. You're going to notice that I assign it to my 2 students that I have assigned. I can click here and see that these 2 students have been assigned, but they haven't turned it in, right? If you go in there, you can give these kids a grade. Like let's say she ends up doing it, you give her 100. He ends up doing it late, so you give him a 60 or a 70 or whatever it is. You get to choose the points of how much you want to give. If students have started turning it in and you just want to see those who have turned it in, you can click on this one and it'll tell you it's been turned in. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's how you create an assignment, or that's how you actually record yourself doing a lesson and then uploading it to your Google Classroom so that the students can go ahead and view it, or they can do what they need to be done on these lessons. So you know where I'm at. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please let me know. I'm here to help. Thanks for watching.